But this week we're going to talk about
not build back better. See, I'm looking at too many political things. A better way home.
And there you have it, ladies
You're an idiot.
and gentlemen. I am Jay McInnes.
Are you okay? Is there an emergency? Is your mother okay? Is your father okay? What are you doing? Why are you reading? BCREA has a big master plan to bring things down a notch.
Socks as well. Actually, you know who got me these socks?
Yeah, my wife.
Your wife got me these socks. Harry and Meghan. I'm surprised I wear them because I'm not even fans of Harry and Meghan. Hashtag Mankles. Okay, let's go.
I'm making 50 grand a month from Mankles.
Let's get this started before any of your negativity can creep in.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Look at that chicken scratch as well.
I'm gonna go through the points and then I'll reference to you this time.
Okay.
And we'll just stumble through it, as we always do.
Ah, fair enough. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's Sharp Stories. Hello, hello, Jay. Say hello, be polite. Smile on that face.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are at, do you remember how to pronounce this? Do not butcher this. You're butchering my entire youth if you butcher this.
We're going to move on. Something importantly that's just came in today, the rate increase. As we've been going back and forth the last few weeks, saying whether they would do it, whether they wouldn't do it.
I didn't think they were going to do it,
And
so I was wrong for the first time.
you were wrong
In a long
for the
time.
millionth time in probably a week.
And they went up.
They went up 0.25. So, and I was wrong here. I thought they went up 0.5, but they went up 0.25 to 0.5. So, should I say that? 7 times drunk. Nonetheless, so it's not a huge amount of increase.
Is my mic on?
Hopefully not. Oh, God. It's not a huge amount of increase. I saw the math behind it, and apparently for every, I think it's every 100,000.
Yep.
It puts your premium up about $12 a month. So, not drastic, but it's the start. And apparently they announced as well that it would be the start of rate hikes. So, as we were talking about over the last few months, we imagine them to be a lot more regular, just in smaller increments. Interested to see what the states do now with that one. Will it affect? Oh, stop, Al! You're going to hit that rock. And my phone's ringing. And that's my timer.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 situation because with the rates, obviously they've gone up. We've been saying they need to go up in order to curb home buyer demand.
It's the only thing that's going to work.
Of course, then you have the rest of the world, or the rest of the Canadian world, who are upset that they went up because now it costs more money to borrow money with inflation and everything as well. So I'm sure that we're going to see politicians jump on it. Can't believe it's happened. Why would they do this? Justin Trudeau, negative this, negative that. We're not his biggest fans, but I actually think it needed to happen. I think it was getting, and not getting it already was too far out of control.
I don't think politicians are going to combat it. I think they're going to say it took you long enough.
No, they're going to combat it, guaranteed.
Because this is the only thing, well, with common sense, not that politicians are always going to scream with common sense, that was the reason for the market to get to this, so that they went so low, and this is going to be the only way out of this. So I'm glad they did it. Are you okay? Is there an emergency? Is your mother okay? Is your father okay? What are you doing? Why are you reading?
Here we go. Today, the Bank of Canada finally raised interest rates. Now Canada's $1 trillion debt will be even more costly for taxpayers and mortgages, and credit cards will get more expensive for Canadians across the country. Justin Trudeau's deficits. That was the first one I looked up.
Credit cards are fixed. So that isn't entirely true directly, but anyway.
Nonetheless, not my comments. But
it's happened, and it's the best thing to happen.
It needed to happen. But that's why people don't get as well. It's not going to make the change instant. Like that $12 a month, of course, that accumulates the more expensive your home is, or the more expensive your mortgage value is. But that $12 a month is not going to make or break the market. And so this is where we kind of start to see the the shift, there was a bit of an increase in demand, which we'll go through next week. Well, I will go through next week because you're being taken down to Mexico.
Yes, forced.
Forced down to Mexico. But this week we're going to talk about
not build back better. I'm looking at too many political things. A better way home.
Stop. Just get to the point because it sounds so creepy.
BCREA has a big master plan to bring things down a notch. So they've gone through a variety of points, 30 to be precise, throughout 4 different elements of this plan to assist our crazy market. So we're going to touch on a few of those today and our thoughts on said points. Yes.
But I'll throw this out. One of the reasons why they've done this, and we've spoken about this a lot, is the cooling off period.
That was one of the points.
Okay.
Horrible idea.
BCREA for short. Yeah, is it actually BCREA or is it just BCREA? Anyway, they've been saying that the cooling off period is not a good idea, and believe it or not, when the powers that be make these changes to policy and ideas, usually they don't discuss with the real estate agents, which is crazy because can you imagine some sort of entity came in and said, right, we're going to change the way that we do medical treatment now for cancer. We've not spoken to the doctors, but we're going to change it because we think it's going to be better. And the doctors were all there like, excuse me?
And I love how you compared us to doctors fighting cancer because, yes, it is the same level of importance. So
I'm going to just swiftly move on that. So anyway, what they tried to do is they tried to put together 30 recommendations, which are actually going to, which Jane's going to go through some, which are actually going to help the business rather than them just gallivanting on their own, trying to make their own decisions and failing. So Jay, please continue.
So the 4 points that they're using is supply issues is one thing they're trying to curb. Enhancing consumer protection. As you know, we're not used to going off notes here on this channel, so I'm hard reading my own writing here. Enhance consumer protection, of course, always. They've made huge changes for that in the last kind of 5 to 10 years. Evolving the sector in general, just generally gaining us more credibility, I guess.
Yeah.
Creating world-leading regulatory structure. Can you believe that? If we didn't have it already, they want us to have that. So,
sounds
a few...
like one of those things that always gets said, what it actually looks like.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen from it. Okay, so some points that we're gonna get your take on. Mandatory pre-offer periods. So they're highlighting the listing should be up for minimum of, for example, 7 days before you can take offers, which is essentially
what is happening.
What already happens now for the most part, but that's of course not mandatory.
I think a lot of these suggestions are going to be what people are pretty much doing anyway, which is like common practice, but making it into rules or regulations.
Well, typically speaking, you're going to get the most exposure if you're on the market for at least 7 days, let's say. So as a listing agent, you want the most exposure, obviously, to get the best price. So that's kind of assumed.
I think anyone in real estate in Vancouver now is used to, okay, it goes up on a Monday and they're taking offers the following Monday or Tuesday. So that's just making that as a minimum. I personally haven't seen anyone putting something up on a Monday and then taking offers on Thursday.
But that's to say that they have an
unless
offer
it's specifically
framework. If you have no offer framework, you can obviously get something the next day, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, a mandatory period, whatever that would look like.
Okay.
Immediate access to relevant info, for example, Stratadocs and PDS. Again, already there. You want to provide that as soon as possible so people can make their decisions as soon as possible.
I don't even think I've had anyone like approve any sort of financing without all of those documents as well. And I mean,
yeah,
I guess unless you're buying cash, but again, that's already something that's already included.
It rarely happens.
Just to go back to your other point though about like mandatory on market period. So if you go on the market and somebody falls in love with the home and they want to buy it after, or put an offer in after 2 days, they can't. That just seems...
They can't, they wouldn't be able to accept said offer.
That just seems kind of...
Again, crippling the seller.
Counterproductive. And the buyer as well. If the buyer's like, okay, I operated fast and I got on top of this and I can close this off before everyone else gets to it this weekend, or whatever it may be, kudos to you, buyer, but it's like, no, you gotta wait.
And if they were going to pay, say, full ask, maybe it wasn't going to go into multiples. We're just focusing on this time when there's multiple offers. Maybe they could have got a better price. Okay. So again, in the current exact climate, which is clearly not going to be here forever, a lot of these things may make sense, kind of, but not all. Okay, moving on. Restrict blind bidding.
Okay, again, to what level? That's what and I've said that to you before, like what information is given? Just that somebody made an offer, who that brokerage was, or you're going to give them all the information?
I think sight unseen. So they're going to say you've got to, I don't know, see it, and you can't just send an offer in without having viewed. I don't know. There wasn't nailed down specifics on that.
Blind bidding as opposed to like sending in an offer without seeing it, or you can't just tell other people there's multiple offers and there's not.
Well, you can't do that now anyway.
Well, but that was good. That was talk about being the system. Okay, you're talking about the other one.
So I don't know. So mandatory conditions, so mandatory subjects, financing, inspection. You have to have a subject to inspection, and you have to have a subject to financing, which again would, in theory, give the consumer more protection because they wouldn't necessarily be writing subject free when needing financing.
So I see the angle they're going to take on this. They're going to probably spin it as well to say, oh, this also protects the seller, because if there's an inspection, nothing can go back to them afterwards about what wasn't working or what was working, and causes that dispute. Again, coddling. Like if a buyer wants to go in, like if an experienced buyer wants to go in and let's say they're going to renovate, for example, they're just going to gut the whole thing. They don't want an inspection because they don't care. They're tearing down the whole thing, or they're going to renovate extensively. Or somebody who's done this and they're looking around the place and they're like, no, I don't personally want to spend that minimum $450 on an inspection. I think you're just getting in the way again.
I think they're just adding bureaucracy to try and slow the entire process down.
Yeah, I wish they'd just gone back and just said, supply. Like, this is our recommendation, supply. Everything should be focused on supply right now. Because the system is not broken. There's some tweaks, of course, but there's nothing that is going to be changed to the system itself that's going to all of a sudden make everyone's life in real estate, in Vancouver real estate fixed. But supply?
Yeah, but that's attacking themselves. That's attacking municipal governments, municipalities. They can't do that.
And this is the thing. So it's just, okay, we're going to make
that obviously makes the most sense.
Supply and density and rezoning, but we're going to sprinkle in these other little.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 more things. Now back to the blind bidding. I've got, as you can see, I'm not good at taking notes and then
or writing,
going off
apparently.
Of them. I've got further no blind bidding notes at the bottom here. No blind bidding. So what they want to try and alleviate with that is the bid gap spread. So you offer $910 and I offer $990. They believe that there shouldn't be an $80,000 spread from me getting it to you. So like you offer $910, I offer $911 and get it. So that blind, to your first point, I guess means publicly acknowledging the price, which then leads to, do we just get into auctions? But then you're changing the entire system. Does the system need that?
Well, what is it that they do with like the auction bidding systems where like they do this with like Facebook ads?
Paddles?
No, not the paddles. But they do this online with like Facebook ads where like you can, I think it's your ad or something. Let's say you're going to spend $13 an ad, and the next, or this was with Google or something like that, and the next one is $11.16.
So your ad will go higher.
Your ad will go higher. However, they won't charge you $13. They'll just charge you a cent more than second place because you're the highest one. So is that what they mean? Like in that case,
yeah. But then I just offer 10 million.
That's what I'm going to say. But then you don't know what the other highest offer is. So then is that how they're going to play this? Because you could just go in and offer 10 million. But what if you are actually only willing to pay $1 million for somewhere and somebody else has come in at $1,050,000? Now,
and your financing
now all of a sudden your financing screwed up. So
yeah.
Is that what they mean? And I do think there needs to be some adjustment on the multiple bidding system to a certain level. I think
just follow Aussie. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Center of the earth.
Just
other than their response to this pandemic, center of the earth.
I'm not gonna.
It's a slight.
When are you going back?
Slight blemish.
When are you going? Will they let you?
I'm allowed back. We're allowed back. The gates are open again. Okay, one
I
more.
don't mean us. I mean like J. Gordon McInnes. Like when you left,
problems
you,
are gone.
you obviously ran
Stop.
or were chased out.
Open arms. They want me back. They want my kids there. They just want me back on home and native
Your kids
land.
and your wife, lovely, lovely. You on
want
the
me all
other
back.
hand, completely different
No,
story.
I have strings attached and they're coming with me. Okay, last thing.
Okay.
Cooling off period. So we get an offer accepted and you get a week. So it's similar. I think what they're probably using as the reference point is pre-sales. You have a seven-day rescission period.
This
so
is what we were talking about before so much, but it's wrong because like the 7-day rescission period is, okay, you get to go through all of the contracts and the paperwork, and then you don't actually have a finished product there in front of you. That's what a subject period is for. Like you have your 7-day subjects to go through all of the documentation.
But I think what they're trying to
do
get
the
at
financing
is that people are going subject free
Okay, then
based on the market climate, so there is no subject period. So let's do it on the other side, the cooling off
But
period.
again, that's short-sighted because when it's not like this, then you've still got that cooling off period.
Yeah.
And again, it's just, why would you ever go in subject? You would get more subject-free offers if you had a cooling off period. Because if you can pull out for whatever reason after 7 days, why on earth would you have any subjects?
It's looking at it backwards, I think. Yeah.
Like it's
Specifically from what we
and
do
to
now,
my point,
but yeah.
if everyone is therefore subject free because they've just got a 7-day grace period or a 14-day grace period, it's just going to push prices higher because it's just going to be, okay, well, everyone's subject free, so whoever gets the highest price gets it. So it's going to have the opposite effect. I've been saying this countless times.
You said it once.
March
You said it once.
1st, 2nd today.
Yes. One of those two.
March 2022. Benjamin Mark Robinson said so.
That's all I got. There were 30 points. That's about 7.
The one thing I did see that you didn't touch on though is they're trying to help with regulations and more training for new agents.
So yeah, these focus on the consumer protection aspect, of course. There's that. There's
So
that I build us better, if you will, if possible.
Very good shout, good shout. B-U-B, bub. But for those of you who don't know, so essentially we take our real estate test. There's a couple of other like in-classroom sessions that range anywhere from I think 2 days to 2 weeks.
There's a continuing education program you need to credit
which
base
is
every 2 years.
No, that's once you've got your license. But
We're talking
this
about
is
pre.
This is
Okay.
like pre. So you take your test, you study, take your test, you then do, I think it's from 2 to 2 weeks worth of in-class stuff, and then you're off. And then that's it. So if you're doing, okay, we're in Dunbar today. I'm brand new to the business. I'm doing an open house on Saturday. You come in and you say, oh, I want to write an offer for this place. I've never written an offer before in my life. I don't know how to assess market evaluations. I turn around to you and say, yeah, it's listed fair. It's 5 million. We should offer 5 million. I'm responsible for writing your contract, getting you into legal obligations, tied down fees of 5 million. Well, what if the place was only worth 3.5 million? You paid $1.5 million more. What if I haven't put the right parameters in to protect you? And I think that's a good thing because it's good for the consumer protection, but it's also good as an agent for the agent protection as well, because that's a big part of the process in learning that, and it's going to allow us to serve clients better. So I'm all for that personally, because I know when I first got in the business, I would have loved that extra direction. So that's another thing. And there's so many of us.
There are. And yeah, so those, and again, there's about another 20 points that they're trying to do. And I don't know the timeline. Are they just slowly
I think they would
combing
just
through
like
this?
recommend
They
it, and then I'm sure they'll pick and cherry pick on what bits and what that looks like. And these things are never fast, Jay. As you know, the bureaucracy
is a disease. It's a cancer.
the red tape involved.
It's disgusting. This decision should be made quick. Anyway,
I think that sums us up for today,
how long was
this
that?
week.
20 minutes. Okay, that's good.
Okay, that's
Solid 20 from Sheldicott Park. Can you say that?
Sheldicott.
Huh?
Sheldicott.
Yes.
I gave you this language. My ancestors gave you this
Sheldicott
language.
Park. You
Even
can't
I can say
continue to use that line.
That's what I can.
No one cares. Sheldicott Park
In Dunbar.
in Dunbar, Vancouver. Thank you.
you, guys.
That's how the industry is getting better.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
was gonna do an ending thing
I
then.
know you were, but you're just dragging it on. Your ending takes like 5 goddamn minutes.
15 seconds.
And there you have it, ladies
You're an idiot.
and gentlemen. I am Jay
go out.
McInnes, and this has been Sharp Stories. I give thanks. Yeah? I nailed it. I nailed the impression of you. That is perfect. That was gold. I should do this more often.
Do what?
Impressions.
You're an idiot.